Hello, YouTube, and fellow Star Citizens and Elite Dangerous players. I'm coming to you today from, well, the cockpit of an Anaconda and Elite Dangerous to discuss why you don't see Star Citizen content on my channel anymore. And I think I have to say that I don't know how much I'm going to be playing Star Citizen, to be honest. Star Citizen has to fix their game. I mean, that's the bottom line to it. As it stands right now, it's kind of unplayable for me. I have a feeling with the patch 13 series, the version .9, whatever you want to call it, you'll start to see more content again from me in Star Citizen. But a lot of things have changed on my perspective on Star Citizen and just my life in general. Let's walk backwards in time, almost 2 years ago, when the initial Kickstarter campaign for both Star Citizen and a little bit later than that, Elite Dangerous, was kicked off. I knew Chris Roberts from Wing Commander Privateer. Privateer was my favorite game of all time. Wing Commander Armada was the first game that I played via modem against my friends. As a result, I saw the trailer for Star Citizen and went, my god, that is Wing Commander Privateer, the MMO, without the Wing Commander part. Shut up, here's my Amex. This is a game I wanted to play for 20 years. I remember sitting back on my old 46 playing Privateer going, you know what? Wouldn't it be so cool if my friend could dial in via modem and be my gunner? Or wouldn't it be so cool if that Dreaming class freighter was a person that I could pirate and not just an NPC or an AI back in those days, just a computer player? Wouldn't that be so cool? And then 20 years later, it was like we'd be getting that. And I looked at my life and everything at the time. I was single. I had just sold a company. So I had a little bit of extra time on my hands. And, I didn't know what the future brought. And if you looked at the development timeline, I was like, originally Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous had very similar production goals in terms of goals and production timelines. And as a result, I'm like, I probably have time to play one of these games. I don't have time to play both. It seems like Star Citizen is closer to the game that I wanted to play. I mean, I played Elite a little bit as a kid, but not very much. So I don't know much about it, and I'm going to back Star Citizen. And I did. And then when the hangar modules and stuff came out, I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And couldn't wait for the dogfighting module. And then, kind of things exploded. They got $20 million. They weren't expecting to have that much that quickly. And they decided that, hey, we're going to delay the dogfighting module a few months until we can, there's no sense in wasting the time and effort and resources anymore, because now we think we have the money that we weren't expecting to have. And why waste all that time, effort, and money on a zombie product, a product that we know we're going to replace in 6 months, a year anyway? I think it was really more like a year, and I'm like, that makes sense. Yeah. Cancel the dogfighting module in December, get back to us. But they've not been very clear, and they've either completely misestimated goals or they're just not being honest with the community. They're like, oh, we're going to delay it a couple months, our netcode will be there. Well, it's been 9 months, almost 10, and it's still not there. I mean, they just now opened it up to all 400,000 people, and what little I've played of it and what other people were reporting as they play it, they've still got some work. That's not to say that netcode in Elite Dangerous is anything but perfect, but it's getting much, much better with each release. And that brings me back to the fact that I actually sold some of my LTI ships on the gray market and bought into Elite Dangerous. Some other things. The fact that there was two distinct backers of Star Citizen. You had your early backers who were primarily Wing Commander fans, and then later on kind of came Freelancer, folks who are fans of Freelancer, and I ended up playing Freelancer and went, whoa, how you control your ships and stuff are completely different. These are two completely different games. One's a flight sim, one's an arcade game. And there are some growing concerns over the flight model, and then once we got it delivered, it's like they tried to appease both folks, but you really can't. And their flight model is very rough. I'll give them time to try and fix it. But the way that they handle their control schemes is just completely unacceptable to me. Elite Dangerous if I go down the list of the issues that I have with Star Citizen from game mechanics wise right now, Elite Dangerous doesn't have that problem. The mouse versus keyboard. In Elite Dangerous, mouse and keyboard users still have to fly their ship and get their nose pretty much on target and aim, get it in that heretical for gimbaled weapons to lock on and for their shots to count. Star Citizen, their shots go wherever their cursor is on screen. That makes the capability or the possibility of doing any evasive maneuvers to stay out of an enemy's gun arc nearly impossible in Star Citizen. You get a very much different style of play than what I was originally anticipating. I was expecting to be able to pull off some barrel roll maneuvers that I can in Elite Dangerous, that I do in Elite Dangerous. If you watch some of my video gameplay videos, I was going up against people with railguns, which were very powerful in premium beta. And I would fly around them until they would go past and I could maneuver up and get behind them and pepper them with autocannons or multi-cannons. You don't get that in Star Citizen. If I was at those angles in Star Citizen, the mouse and keyboard user would just simply scroll up and get the green triangle and be shooting at me at these very high angles. So there's some issues that I have with gameplay mechanics there, with the control schemes. This whole first person versus third person. Elite Dangerous, Braben is simply there is no third person. We might eventually give you some way to take beauty shots of your ship, but you're not going to be able to use anything. And people are like, oh, well, there's no HUD and stuff like that. Elite Dangerous. I've had my cockpit shot out before. Lose the HUD. I don't require a HUD to aim. I just kind of have to know where my guns are going to go. The old dot on the monitor trick. And then you can fly in third person all you want all day long in Star Citizen. So those are a couple of the issues that I had. And then there's just the fact that Star Citizen is now looking to be at the same point Elite Dangerous is today in another year, maybe 2 years. And that is the key, most critical factor in my book. 2 years ago, I was single. Today I'm married with a house, and anybody who has a house will tell you there's honey-do lists, there's yards that have to be mowed, there's shrubs that have to be trimmed, there's fertilizer that has to be put down. We redid the kitchen last year. We're going to redo the master bathroom probably next year. We're putting down new hardwood floors, and we're doing a lot of that work ourselves. Well, there goes my weekends. This weekend, we originally were going to be on a float trip, but due to death in the family for one of our friends and just general weather, we didn't end up going. So this weekend ended up to be pretty free, but next weekend's booked. Weekend after that, we're going for a 2-week vacation into Europe. Kind of a belated honeymoon. Probably kids entering the picture in the next year or two. Having a 2-year-old in 2016, probably, or 1-year-old in 2016, 18-month-old toddler. Think I'm going to have a lot of time to play video games? No. And it's because of that and the fact that Elite Dangerous, we're going to be seeing Gamma, which is essentially full release of the game, by the end of this year, probably, at the rate that they're releasing content. So, I haven't given up on Star Citizen, but at the same time, it very well turns out that Elite Dangerous is turning out to be the game I thought I was backing in Star Citizen, but Star Citizen's not shaping up to be that way. That's kind of where I'm at. And I think that a lot of other people are going to be too, that, they backed a game 3 or 4 years ago, and Star Citizen may turn out to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. But all I know is in Elite Dangerous right now, I'm running on high settings with a 2-year-old workstation. It's a quad-core Xenon E3 1245 V2, 750i Ti graphics card. Not a high-performance gaming card. I'm getting 60 to 70 frames per second. All my peripherals work. Track IR worked from day one. My Cougar multifunction displays that I use in Falcon BMS worked from day one. My CH setup worked from day one. I'm just having a better experience overall in Elite Dangerous right now. And because of that, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to be playing Elite. I'll Once Star Citizen probably comes out with patch version .9, I'll probably fly some more in there too. Uh, but I'll wait and see on Star Citizen. I could very well see myself in a year selling all of my LTI ships and basically divesting out of Star Citizen because I won't have time to play. And I'm sure that there are a lot of other adults out there who are going to be in the same boat or are in the same boat. So, you know, there them be the chips. Take it as you will. Well, that's kind of my states of the game thoughts and opine. You know, feel free to flame me all you want in the comments section. Be sure to like, subscribe, unsubscribe, whatever. But I fully expect that my content is going to be more geared towards Elite Dangerous in this channel. Now, my guides for the kill, way of the kill, things of that nature, probably a lot of things will be applicable to both games, but I'm taking very much a wait and see approach when it comes to Star Citizen now. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next week.